my way back to summer paradise. Sean Paul simple plan.
My heart is sinking as I'm living.
How is a second language learned according to the behaviorist perspective? Behaviorism stems from the work of B.F. Skinner and the concept of operant conditioning. Behaviorism theorists believe that knowledge exists independently and outside of people. They view the learner as a blank slate who must be provided the experience. Behaviorists believe that learning actually occurs when new behaviors or changes in behavior are acquired through association between stimuli and responses. For example, when a child or a person lives where his or her neighbors speak English or another second language, the child or the person gets in contact with a second language. How is a second language learned according to the innatist perspective? How universal grammar works in second language acquisition. Two different points of views. Universal grammar may be presented and available to second language learners, but its exact nature has been altered by the prior acquisition of the first language. Second language learners need to be given some explicit information about what is not grammatical in the second language. Otherwise, they may assume that some structures of the first language have equivalents in the second language when in fact they do not. The acquisition learning hypothesis. Acquisition. We acquire second language knowledge as we are exposed to samples of the second language which we understand with not conscious attention to language form. It is a subconscious and intuitive process. Learning. We learn the second language via a conscious process of study and attention to form and rule learning. Krashen argues that acquisition is a more important process of constructing the system of a language than learning because fluency in second language performance is due to what we have acquired, not what we have learned. The input hypothesis. If the input contains forms and structures just beyond the learner's current level of competence in the language, then both comprehension and acquisition will occur. How is a second language learned according to the interactionist perspective? Equal weight is given to both the learner and the situation. This position is known as interactionism. Put in terms of second language acquisition, we have, on the one hand, the learner's contribution to learning. On the other, the learning situation in which he finds himself, whether in the classroom or outside. As well, the learner finds himself in a diversity of situations. He may be in a formal classroom or in a natural learning situation. He may be in the role of a student or of immigrant or of foreign advisor, and his learning depends upon the interaction between the different aspects of his mental makeup and the different aspects of the situation. First, however, it is necessary to look at the interactionist in more detail. In psychology, this position was associated with Kurt Lewin's classical formula, B equals F P F, that it says behavior, function, F, of the person, P, and the situation, S. This formula provides a kind of mnemonic for remembering the essence of interactionism. Motivation to learn the language. The student's contribution plays an important role because it helps to develop in a faster way the learning. The meaning of things derive or arise as part of the social interaction that each one has with his neighbor. The meaning is a result of the interaction between individuals. The third principle is thought, because thought, based on language, is a mental conversation or dialogue that requires road taking or imagining different point of views, and most important because you start thinking in a second language. The conduct is governed by laws. Behavior is regulated by laws and environmental variables. This principle is really important to consider because it is necessary to know that every individual reacts in a different way to the same stimuli. Learning as a behavioral change. Teachers can determine if their students have understood the subject when they can show changes. For example, in the results for their exams. Teachers will not know if their students have learned if they do not have concrete evidence. The behavioral goals must be specific. It is necessary to consider that two similar external responses do not necessarily come from the same stimuli, and that the same stimulus does not produce the same response in two people. Behavioral goals must be specific and individualized.